Aaron, how you doing? Michael and Don here.
Hey, guys, I'm doing good.
Now, when you hear the story of JPP and Rory McIlroy, can you understand it? Because our first reaction is there's so much at stake for these guys. Why are they doing something off the field that could injure them?
Yeah, it's a fair question. It's something, I went through. I think all whether it's McIlroy, JPP, or me, our stories are a little bit different, but certainly relatable. If you're asking in my case, mine was a simple, going to play a pickup basketball game kind of on a Friday night because I hadn't done my cardio that day, so I was just going to run up and down the court. So I didn't view it as anything risky or never, frankly, didn't have a second thought like maybe I shouldn't be doing this.
Right.
I wasn't in there necessarily mixing it up or anything. So I guess I had a level of peace, even though it obviously cost me a lot of money. It obviously had an impact on my career, but I didn't. I personally, and not obviously speaking for them, I didn't beat myself up too much because I felt like I was doing something, in an off-season kind of way of preparing myself for the season.
So it wasn't malicious, obviously, and you thought you might have been doing something to help your career. So you did have a thought about, hey, this could end up being a positive. Picking up a firework, Aaron, no positive can come from that. The 5 seconds of thrill that you see it explode, the negative is way more than the positives in that situation. So, yeah, I don't even think it's relatable, right? I mean, because he's not doing cardio, it's just not thinking. But is it not thinking, or is it the arrogance of nothing can happen to me, nothing can touch me? I'm young, I'm a professional athlete, what can go wrong?
I'm sure there's partly that. And now you're talking about fireworks. I don't have any experience lighting fireworks, and frankly, I'd be a little chicken around them. I mean, I get a little skittish when I have a sparkler in my hand. So I don't know, and I don't know his experience around these kind of things. So yeah, that would be something personally that I would look at and go, I'm not going to be around that, or I'm going to keep my distance from anything like that. That's me. I don't know if he's been around these before, and he didn't think it was any kind of a big deal or what. But, yeah, for me, it would be something that I wouldn't have gone near. But, I don't know what he's grown up around or his experience around those things or just how freakish and fluke of an accident it's turned out to be.
I just wonder, though, Aaron, you said you didn't think you were doing anything wrong and you don't have that great regret. But obviously the Yankees had in the contract that you couldn't play basketball, and you still decided to play it. So is, again, that the thought process of an athlete who's been great ever since he's a little kid, that nothing can happen to me? I mean, it was in your contract. That's why it cost you about $5 million that you couldn't play basketball.
Yeah, I mean, it's fair, but I didn't look at it that way. And on no level did I think, maybe I shouldn't be doing this tonight. When I looked at the fine print of my contract, I also realized billiards was in my contract, but I couldn't play billiards. So I think the Yankees had some airtight language in there. Obviously for me, it was knowing I wouldn't go skiing or things like that. Basketball, although I didn't play pickup basketball, but the one time that I went and played in the off season, I got hurt. It's not something I viewed that I was looking at dangerously. Maybe in hindsight, maybe poor judgment on my part, or maybe I should have thought. But maybe part of being an athlete or whatever, I didn't consider that, this is something that I should be careful with.
But, Aaron, what billiards? I mean, you've piqued my interest. What could billiards do for you? Knock an eye out? I mean, worried about your back? Why couldn't you play billiards?
I don't know. Maybe it could ricochet. And I think it's just protection and covering, on their side, just covering themselves. But, that's at the end of the day, you sign a contract. It's on you to know what's in the contract, and anything you do that would have a chance at violating that, I fully accept the fact that that's on me. But I also don't look at it as something that I again, I didn't beat myself up so bad to where, like, wow, I really, really did something reckless here, because I didn't view it as that. I viewed it as something I was doing that was actually a responsible choice in getting my cardiovascular in on a Friday night where not much was going on at my house.
Did you ever calculate how much you lost because of that decision?
Well, yeah, I had already agreed to arbitration that year, I think, for $575, and so that turned it into a non-guaranteed contract. So I think I got around $1 million in severance. I did go on and sign a multi-year deal with Cleveland. So it's hard to say. I mean, I will say the injury was significant enough. It was my second ACL injury on the same leg, and I felt like this time, I feel like my strength as a player, as an athlete, was always my athleticism, and that I could run and move around at third base. I feel like this injury, coupled with probably entering my early 30s, changed me athletically. I wasn't the same athlete. I wasn't quite as explosive, and I think the injury had a lot to do with that.